Hi, I hope everyone has had a wonderful day today. I am a little late getting my video in. I've had a busy day, but I do have two things that God wanted me to share with you this afternoon. So the first is He wants me to pick up where we left off yesterday when we were talking about the love scriptures from 1 Corinthians 13. And yesterday we talked about love is patient. So today he wants me to share with you the next thing in that verse, which is love is kind. So what does that mean? Well, number one, we know this is a characteristic of God, and so we know that God is love and that he lives inside of us. So we have these characteristics also if he lives inside of us, and we have the ability to use these things to witness for him, to show love to other people. So what does kindness mean? Well, there are different ways that you may look at it, but I can give you some examples of things that God has shown me to be able to do over the past years, and maybe this will help you out a little bit. For instance, just the other day, I was coming out of the grocery store, and there was a little lady sitting right inside of the door going out on one of the little scooters. She was an elderly lady, and she stopped me and she asked me which way I was going, and I said, well, ma'am, what do you need? And she said, well, my ride hasn't shown up, and she said, I need to get home. I have my groceries. And I said, well, where do you live? And it was only just a couple blocks. And I said, well, ma'am, I said, let me get my car and I will take you home. So I went, got in my car, loaded my groceries up, come back up and picked her up with her groceries. And the lady's name was Mary, and she had had a stroke and was dealing with some other health issues. And I was just so blessed to be able to talk to her for just the few blocks we were going. And when we got there, I was able to help her unload her groceries and get them in. And, a lot of people would have walked right past her, and probably did, because there were like 3 or 4 people walking past her. And I'm sure that she had to have asked someone else, but, God may have just said, hey, ask her. But if I would have just walked past her, I would have missed the blessing of getting to meet Mary and know about her, and now I can pray for her. And I've really thought about going back up and just sitting down and talking with her again, because she was a beautiful, wonderful lady. Some other instances, another one in the grocery store. A little while back, there was a lady in line ahead of me, and she was putting things up one at a time and asking the cashier to tell her total after each individual piece. And I could tell by looking at her that she had had some rough times, and also by the way that she was, asking for the price on each thing, that she was maybe not going to be able to get everything that she needed. And so she pushed her buggy up at the end of her putting everything up, and she had her back kind of turned, and so I stepped up and stuck my debit card into the machine, and she turned around and she didn't understand at first what was going on. She was trying to say, well, I wasn't done yet, and then all of a sudden it hit her that I was paying for her groceries for her. And the lady just started crying. She just couldn't believe that someone would do something like that for her. And, it's not about the fact that I did it, because I didn't need to tell anybody that I did it. God saw me. He knew what I did. But the only reason I'm telling you is so that you can have an example of kindness and what God's love can do for other people just by showing kindness. There are many, many other instances that my husband and I have both had where we've been honored to be able to step up and help someone out in their time of need, and just showing them God's love through just a tiny bit of kindness. It could just be the smile that you give someone. It could be a hug that they just really need. Of course, right now with the COVID, that's a little harder, but there are still things that you can do for people right now, and especially right now with all the hate and all the ugly things that are going on. There's so much that we can do for other people. So, it could be just a neighbor that needs a dinner cooked for them, or there's just so many things that you can do. So just remember each day to try to listen to what God is telling you. Because if I would have walked past that lady in the grocery store, I could have been missing an opportunity to serve an angel. I never know what God has for me, and I always want to take every opportunity, and I'm sure I've missed plenty. But when I'm in really listening to God, what God's got to tell me, then I'm able to serve others better. And we get so busy in our daily lives that sometimes it's hard to remember that. But even when I was working full time, I would try every day to pay attention to people around me, if they were hurting, if I could pray for them, or whatever it was I could do. And sometimes we think that it doesn't matter, and to the other person it really does. So that's what I wanted to share, the first thing with you today. The second thing is, some of you may or may not know that in 2012 my mother was diagnosed with multiple myeloma. She beat it. She had a stem cell transplant and has been doing very well for 8 years. So today we got news that her numbers are back up and that the myeloma is trying to come back. My mom, she's a trooper. I heard her say that God did not put the spirit of fear in her. And so we are going to fight this together. So any of you that are prayer warriors, this is what I need. We are true believers in healing, and that God has made that available for us. And God is not holding anything back from us. He's not picking and choosing that someone is healed and someone is not. He has provided all of that through Jesus, and it is ours to take by faith. And so my mom stands on that. I stand on that. And if you are a true believer in that, that is what I would ask of you today, that you stand with us and speak and believe positive things, positive healing. And I have no doubt whatsoever that it's going to happen. In Matthew 18, it says, where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there I am in the midst of you also. So God's here with us, and He hears us. And He hears 1, He hears 2, He hears 3. And it's not that we're begging Him for anything to be done. Mainly what I want is just speaking truth, speaking God's word over her. So thank you so much in advance for any prayers that you offer. And I thank you all so much for taking time to listen, to view the videos. This is something that God is just blowing up for me. It's just amazing. I've already heard over the past couple of days since I've been doing this so many wonderful stories. People are sharing so much, and I'm just so blessed to that you have allowed me to be a part of your lives in that way, and just sharing so honestly and boldly with me. I hope that you're not only learning from me, but that I'm having opportunities to learn from you by you sharing. And I'm just, like I said, I'm humbled and I'm blessed. So I want you to know that you matter to God, and since you matter to God, you matter to me. Thank you so much for watching. Have a blessed evening.